so nice that women's hockey like finally getting the spotlight that it deserves. It's just nice to see how like we can be a part of like something that is like sustainable for like the next generation, and now younger people, younger girl can like see a potential and like something like after that.
Hello and welcome back to Rinkside Rundown, the podcast that brings you inside the world of women's hockey, one story at a time. I'm your host, Chris Sinclair, and today's guest is a dynamic forward who's made a name for herself with her speed, skill, and determination. Maya Labad just wrapped up her fourth season at Quinnipiac University, emerging as a key contributor and a leader for the team. Maya, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing well.
Good. I'm glad. I've been really looking forward to this conversation, really looking forward to learning a lot more about your incredible journey. As I mentioned, from Quebec to Quinnipiac to this next exciting chapter of your hockey career, one I'm sure you're anxious and excited to talk about. I want to, naturally, we have to start where it all started for you,
Yeah.
and that's back at the beginning. So why don't you walk us through what it was like growing up in Quebec, as I had mentioned off the top, and how you found your way into hockey, or how hockey found its way into your life.
I mean, I grew up playing soccer and like swimming. So one time my dad and I went to his friend's house just to like go grab some hockey stuff for my brother. And I had like no interest in playing like hockey. I was like that little girl, like always wearing pink and like dresses and all that stuff. And I like try to like, I was starting to like put the equipment on and I was like, oh, I kind of like it. Like I want to play. And I was maybe like 7 at that time. And my dad was like, what do you mean you want to play? Like the training camp like already started. And I was like, no, like I want to play. And that's just how it started. Like he signed up my name and I started like doing the training camp um at like 7, I think, and that's how it all started.
Do you remember, like, when you actually first took to the ice and beyond just putting the gear on, and were there those moments where you're like, you know what, maybe this isn't really what I thought it would be, or what I was hoping that it would be, because you did start a little bit later, and so you were maybe, at least at the beginning, a little bit behind everyone else?
Um, well, like we always had like a home like rink like in our backyard. So I was always like skating with like my family back there. So I like kind of knew how to skate, but um I don't really remember like when I started. It just felt like normal in a sense, or that I belong like on the ice or something. So
Well, yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, and I always say it, but anytime a story involves an outdoor rink or an ODR, like that's just quintessential Canadian, and I'm all for it. Absolutely. So it's just doing what you were already doing. It was just a little bit elevated. That's all it was.
yeah.
So a great segue into talking about family, and that's something that's going to come up a few times throughout our conversation, I'm sure, but especially early on, family really does play such an important role early on, but throughout an athlete's journey. What kind of support did your family give you while you were growing up, and how do you think that it shaped your path, and continues maybe to shape your path too?
Well, they're my biggest fan, like since the first time I picked up a hockey stick, and I hold them like so much for that. Especially like my dad, like then I can't even like tell how many like hours and driving me to like practice, stepping up like as a coach, like when I first started when no one else like wanted to like coach like little kids. And just like even like through my college career, like driving pretty much like every weekend to come see me play. Like I don't know, I owe him like so much.
Let's also talk about the fact that, growing up in Quebec, that is saying it's a hockey rich province would be an
Yeah.
absolute understatement. Did you ever feel pressure with the fact that there's such a rich tradition of of hockey, both on the men's and
Mhm.
on the women's side when it comes to hockey.
Yeah, I mean, like, Quebec, like, takes hockey, like, really seriously. Even, like, at a young age, like, when you first started, like, parents are, like, not fighting each other, but they're there, like, for their kids, and then they want, like, their kids to win and all that stuff. So, I mean, like, that's, like, kinda hard. Also, like, being, like, a girls on a boys team, like, for a long time. 'Cause, like, back then, like, in Quebec, women's hockey wasn't really, um, like, known,
Mhm.
'cause not a lot of girl were, like, playing, hockey, like, in Ontario, so I was playing with boys, but I felt like I had to prove myself, like, twice as much as them just 'cause I was, like, a girl, but I feel like it just, like, make me stronger in a sense, and I learned, like, how to it's, like, important to stay confident because your people are always gonna have, like, an opinion on you or something, so.
Through those times, through those challenges, let's call them what they were challenges. Who
Mhm.
were some of those people that you looked to as maybe role models or influences that really helped, not only inspire you, but maybe help to kind of push you through and challenge you to get through those moments where you were doubting yourself, whether you were doubting that this was the path you wanted to go down, all
Yeah.
those sorts of things.
My dad for sure.
Of course.
He always, like, believed in me, like, even when I didn't believe in myself like, sometimes he supported, like, every decision that I've made, and that's why I am where I am today. I also had, like, a few coaches who, like, really pushing me along the way, and also, like, my teammates, who made, like, the tough time, like, easier and kept me, like, motivated. And, also those, like, like, looking at all those, like, player, like, Mary Philippe Poulin, all those girls, like, just, like, seeing how they are such good role model for us. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 they are. They are. They have been their entire career.
Yeah.
So, and we're going to talk more. I don't want to get too much more into that because I want to
Mhm.
know, especially as you're embarking on this journey that will bring you into the same space finally that they are as well. I definitely want to hear your picks about who some of those players are that you wouldn't mind playing with, because I can imagine she would be one of the players you would not want to play against.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. But before we get there, we do have to talk about the opportunity that you had to represent your country.
Mhm.
You were a part of the 2019-2020 U18 Women's World Team that brought home silver. Now, obviously, I know that I've read and seen a number of interviews, conversations that you've had. Obviously, that isn't necessarily the medal you would want to have come home with, but it's still an incredible accomplishment. So, I wanted to talk about what that experience meant for you and how did it help to continue your growth and development on the ice.
Ho honestly, like, wearing the maple leaf is just, like, the world that I can think of is, like, pride.
Mhm.
There's so many, like, great player out there, so putting on that jersey for the first time was unreal, and be choose to, like, be a part of, like, this team is I have no word for that. It was, like, unreal. Something that I will, like, remember forever. You dream about, like, moments like that, and when it actually happened, it's just, like, hits different, I guess, and I'm, like, grateful for every single time I get to wear this jersey, so.
So, as someone who will never have the opportunity to wear the maple leaf in that's why I just have it in the background here. That's the closest I'm going to be able to get to wearing it. Like, what was it like for you when like, how long did it take for you to once you put that maple leaf on for it to really sink in that you're deserving of this opportunity. You've worked your tail off to get to this point. As we've talked about, you've overcome those challenges. you've become a better person, you've become an even better hockey player, and now this is your moment. You're wearing that maple leaf. Like, how long did it take for you to say, "Yeah, I deserve this. I deserve this moment, and I'm so excited to be able to represent my country."
When you wear it, like, I just, like, wow, I'm so lucky to, like, be able to, like, represent my country and, like, play for our country at, like, the highest level, and, yeah, I'm just, like, speechless and so proud of, like, all, like, the effort that I made, and it's just, like, rewarding in a sense, so
Mhm. Like I mentioned, coming home with the silver, obviously the intent, I mean, it goes without saying that you're always going there to win,
mhm.
but there's still lessons that can be learned, when you come away and you didn't win it all. Especially with the pressure of being from Canada, like, it's just everywhere, it's like you're just expected to win gold all the time. What did that experience teach you about yourself? Not necessarily specific to hockey, but as an individual that really helped you to grow even further and prepare you for your collegiate career and then now your PWHL career?
Um, I mean, yeah, like, not winning, like, the goal, like, you always want goal, so it stung, but, um, I mean, like, we gave it all, and, like, I'm so proud of what we accomplished, but, um, it gave me, like, for myself, like, confidence knowing that I could play, like, at a high level
Right,
by wearing, like by playing at this level,
right.
and it also made me want to keep pushing myself and get even better, like, every time, um, when I come back, so
A question that I like to ask Canadians who end up going to the United States, and I'm sure you've been asked this before, is
Mhm.
there's obviously a decision that can be made where you either stay in Canada, you participate, or you go through U Sports, or you go to the States. I mean, there are obviously other options, but we'll break it down to just the two options. But um, what led you to go the NCAA route rather than staying in Canada? And was that always the goal or always the plan for you?
Um, I looked at both option, but the NCAA just felt right for me and, like, more exciting. The level of, like, competition and the way, like, we're treated, like, professional,
Right.
um and also, like, the college experience, like, in the United States is, like, totally different. It was always, like, something I really wanted to be a part of, so,
Okay, well then let's talk about Quinnipiac. Why? What made that program feel like the right program for you?
um, the culture, like, as soon as I visited, like, I fell in love with Quinnipiac, the hockey program, the school, it just felt like I belonged there. The coaching staff, the facilities, even, like, the way the girl, were with me on my visit, like, the older girls
Mhm.
that was there just felt right, like, I knew, like, there I could grow on and off the ice, so that's, like as soon as, like, we were driving back home, like, I told my dad, I was like, "Wow," like, that was crazy.
And talk a little bit more about that too, because like making that jump, you mentioned it just or just a few minutes ago around really challenging yourself. Well, that's a big challenge. Now you're playing in the United States, right? That's the first
Yeah.
time that you've played in the United States. You're not as close, obviously, to family, to friends. That support structure, obviously, they're still within a phone call away and all those things, but they're not there in the same way that they've been throughout your the earlier stages of your career. What was that adjustment like for you in going from Quebec to now Quinnipiac to continue your hockey journey?
So, I went to John Abbott, like, in CJEP, so I was, like and I was living in an apartment, so it was, like, kinda like a in between. So I was away from home, I was still, like, close from home, but I was, like, living away and, like, making, like, my own food and then, like, I don't know, I kinda had that, like, middle in between,
Yeah.
and I never been, like, someone who was getting, like, homesick and wanted to, like, be at home. I always, like, wanted to be with my friends and then, like, I don't know, and, um, going to Quinnipiac, like, my freshman year was kinda hard because of COVID, so, all those, like, COVID tests and the border, like, sometimes they were closed, not closed, it was, like, just so hard, so, my family, like, couldn't, like, come, like, as much that I wanted to, but so it was, like, kinda hard, but it's also, like, freshman year, it's always, like, hard, and after that, like, I don't know. I never wanted to, like, come back in the summer, come back home, so
This episode is brought to you by MB Performance Nutrition, fueling the next generation of hockey players. Whether your athlete is just starting out or chasing next level performance, MB Performance Nutrition has free resources to help, like a meal timing guide and protein powder buying checklist. Founded by Melissa Bufunos, a certified holistic nutritionist and former elite hockey player, MB Performance Nutrition also offers one-on-one coaching, team workshops, and more. Learn more at melissabufunos.com. That's MELISSABOUFOUNOS.com. Now that your 4 years at Quinnipiac are freshly in the rearview mirror, as I say, how would you sum up your experience both on and off the ice?
it's been, like, an incredible experience, like, and I would not, like, change anything of it. I've grown so much as a player, as a student at Quinnipiac, and as a person. I've made, like, lifelong friendship, and I learned a lot about myself along the way, so there's nothing I would change.
Admire anyone who is able to accomplish great things
Mhm.
when it's just like, you know what, I'm going to go to university and I'm going to get my degree, and they do it and it's fantastic. I admire people even more when they're able to do both that and be successful, incredibly successful as you have been on the ice or on the playing surface. So it begs the question, how did you do it? How did you balance, being incredibly successful on the ice with success in academically, while also, maybe crazy idea, also having some sort of social life as well at the same time? Like, how did you manage to be successful in all those areas?
I don't know, like, we had, like, those talk, like, me and my teammate, like, so many time, but, I mean, all athletes, like, work under pressure, so, like, that's probably why, like, we're able to, like, do it all, 'cause like, sometimes when we have, like, a day off or something, or even, like, when our season ended and, like, couple months ago, and I was not, like, doing hockey anymore, and I was just, like, going to class, I was like, "This is so boring," like, I like having, like, a set schedule and, like, being busy, because that's how I work, so, I don't know, like, that's just, like it was just, like, normal to, like, do everything.
Or, well, yeah, just wired differently, I guess. That's totally fair. Yeah, no, like I said, I admire when people are able to not only do it, but be as successful as you have been throughout your collegiate career. Um, so I do also want to talk now about this next stage in
Mhm.
your career, which is the PWHL. What does it mean to have now that this route, this path that will continue, we see it's continuing to grow, but to have this path ahead of you in the PWHL, what does that mean to you to have this now?
Um, well, it's so nice that women's hockey, like, finally, getting the spotlight that it deserve. Um, it's so exciting, and I'm kinda nervous, but, like, it's so exciting to see that. Um, it's, like it's just nice to see how, like, we can be a part of, like, something that is, like, sustainable for, like, the next generation, and now younger people, younger girl can, like, see a potential and, like, something, like, after that,
Mm.
other than just, like, waiting and not being sure of, like, what's gonna happen next.
It's really this is and I love that you mentioned this basically right off the top was equality across all sports. You just want to see that. You don't want to have to continue to see women working so much harder than men to get to
Mhm.
where the men are. You just want to see equality. And
Yeah.
now we're starting to see that spotlight. We're starting to see that incredible reception, record breaking attendance. I think back immediately, obviously, over a million fans now have watched PWHL games. The most recent Women's Worlds was over 122,000 fans showed up for that, which is just unbelievable. There's such excitement. How
Yeah.
does it feel for you? I can see you kinda holding back a bit of a smile there, but how does it feel to be entering into this excitement rather than maybe seeing it from the outside?
I mean, the level of like you said, like the equity, there's like so much talent and now like it's so nice to see that women's hockey and like we can get the same level of like views as the men does and then we're not just seen as oh women's hockey like people like now know about that and for me like it's so exciting it means like everything that now like it's my chance to like enter the draft like growing up like we didn't like I said we didn't know like oh like what's next like is there a pro but now like now that it's like happening like it's so nice.
Seeing that, your teammates or graduates of your program in particular, seeing that, does that add a little bit of extra fuel to that athletic mindset that you have where you're like, "Hey, I played with her. I can't wait to be there as well." Cheering her on, all those sorts of things. Does it add a little bit of extra fuel for you?
Yeah, of course, like, it's so nice to see and being like, "Oh, maybe, like, I'm gonna have a chance to, like, play with them or against them again," or it's just like and it's also, like, seeing, like, so many girls, like, who play at Quinnipiac, like, playing now in, like, the professional leagues just show how, like, Quinnipiac, like, is really, like, a good program for women's hockey, and, um, it's nice to see that so many, like, girls, even, like, from, like, the coaching staff or like, behind the scene are, like, in the PWHL now.
Yeah, well, and special shout out to Logan Andrews,
Mhm.
who's been on the show before, graduate of Quinnipiac, and had quite the career there. And I've been able to, I cover the Ottawa Charge, and I've been able to see her at practices. Fantastic goaltender. So special shout out to friend of the show, Logan Andrews.
Hi.
So I love that, and we spoke a little bit about it, near the top, but I want to know as you're looking now at getting into the PWHL, being drafted, who are some of those players that I kind of we kind of got close to asking the question earlier, but who are those players that you're like, I can't wait to play with them. I can't wait to challenge myself by playing against them. I would definitely lump Poulin into both categories, I guess, to
Mhm.
be totally honest. But who are some of those players for you that you're really looking forward to playing with and playing against, being in the same league with, maybe sitting next to in the locker room?
Um, honestly, it's exciting just to play with or against, like, anyone who's in the league right now, because that's, like, the highest level of hockey that we have to this day, and especially, like, all those girls who, um, play at the Olympics. So honestly, like anyone, like I said, Mary for the Plane, like all those girls that when I was like a kid, I was looking up to them, and now maybe I have a chance to like play against or with them. It's just like unreal.
Okay. So I want to now, as is a tradition on the show, we
Mhm.
always end every show with the rapid fire question segment. Are you ready to take the final test of today's conversation?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. What is your go to pregame meal?
um, chicken, rice, and veggies.
Okay. Favorite cheat meal, or maybe it's just a treat?
Probably like a homemade burger.
Oh, nothing beats homemade. Oh,
Yes.
good choice. Good call. Do you have any superstitions or pregame rituals?
I always put my pants after tying my skate.
Oh man, I said I wouldn't ask any follow-up questions, and now I have follow-up questions, but I won't do it. Just that's a first. That's what I'll say. What is your go-to pump-up song?
Um, Honestly, anything SZA or The Weeknd.
When you think back to this past season at Quinnipiac, who owned the dressing room music and what was played most often?
Um, we got a lot of girls who love country, so a lot of country. Um, but honestly, a mix of like everything. Like we just like say, "Oh, we want this song, this song." Never, it's never the same. But we do have like couple song that at a certain time like we play just for like a ritual. But yeah.
Okay. What is one thing that people don't know about you?
um, like I said, like at the beginning, I grew up playing soccer,
Mhm.
and I had to like make a decision between soccer or hockey, but I could have like probably play soccer at like a high level like I do for hockey.
Ooh, okay. There we go. There we go. It's never too late. What's one word your teammates would use to describe you?
Um a lot of people say that I'm really honest.
Okay, really honest. That's good. Good quality. What is something that remains on your bucket list?
Seeing all the seven wonders of the world.
Okay, I have not asked a single follow-up question, but I'm going to ask one here.
Yes.
Um, have you seen any of them yet, and which ones are they?
Yeah, I just came back from Italy yesterday, so we saw the Coliseum. It was
Okay.
really cool. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's a good one to cross off that list. Whew, boy.
Mhm.
Okay. Last question for you. When people look back at your or on your career one day, what do you hope they say about Maya Labad?
um that I was like a hard worker and I helped to push women's hockey forward.
All right, that's perfect. Great answer and a great way to wrap up today's episode of Rinkside Rundown. A huge thank you to Maya Labad for joining me and sharing her incredible journey from the rinks of Quebec to Quinnipiac to now taking the next step towards the pro game. Maya, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy off season, as you mentioned, just coming back from Italy and now you're stuck talking to me. So just really appreciate
Thank
your
you so
time, your insights, and I'm looking forward to following your journey into the PWHL and beyond.
Thank you so much. That was awesome.
I'm so glad. And if you enjoyed this episode as much as we did, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your fellow hockey fans. Your support helps us to grow and bring you more inspiring stories just like this one from around the world of women's hockey. I'm Chris Sinclair. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time on Rinkside Rundown.